Have you ever had your phone die just before the most important call of your life? Or watched it zoom out in a blaze of exhaustion and indifference as you missed the bus by the narrowest of margins? You know that cousin who overstays their welcome, eats all your snacks, and then decides to move in. That's not just an annoying house visitor, that's frustration, though we've all been caught up in this complicated situation. Don't just put a "it's fine" band-aid on it. Let's get rid of this annoyance permanently. We're going to explore 7 unwavering Stoic techniques today that can help you not only control, but also eliminate frustration. If you're new here, allow me to issue you with a small challenge. In order to elevate your mental fortitude and establish yourself as a rock in this chaotic sea, hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. So grab a seat, let's get started. 1. Pay attention to your sphere of influence. Epictetus once said, "Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems." Let's start by discussing control, or more precisely, the appearance of control. Although you have no control over the weather or the traffic that delays you, you do have power over how you respond to it and how your thoughts and feelings are shaped. This is a mentality change, not some enchanted fairy dust thrown over your life. Consider the instance of missing a bus. You may hit the air and have a tantrum, or you could utilize those extra minutes to meditate, take a deep breath, listen to a podcast, or just look up at the sky. No amount of annoyance will make the bus return. It's gone forever. There's a hurry to do more, be more, and achieve more in today's fast-paced world. We are inundated with messages all the time that link our value to our output. However, life isn't a never-ending to-do list. Rather, it's a collection of events, some anticipated, some not, that collectively weave together to form the fabric of our lives. So, the next time something doesn't go your way and you find yourself in a rage, stop and think. If the answer is no, ask yourself, is this within my control? Then take a deep breath and let go. If so, proceed accordingly. There's no sense in losing sleep over a missing bus when there are other ways to get where you're going. It can be freeing to accept this first Stoic concept. It's similar to eventually getting rid of all those apps on your phone that you never used and only realized how much space they were taking up after they were gone. Release the weight of the unpredictable, and you'll have more space in your life to focus on the things that really count. Imagine a society in which this one concept was followed by all. There should be an end to road rage, errant outbursts in grocery store lines, and internet warriors losing their cool over a tweet. That is a world to which one should aspire. Thus, start by concentrating on your control circle. 2. Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well, said Epictetus. Zoom out for perspective and an overhead view. You know how the camera frequently pans out to give an aerial picture of everything in a movie? It's simple to forget that the cosmos is bigger than our small globe. To keep ourselves grounded and realize that the problems we are facing are little in the larger scheme of things, we occasionally need a bird's-eye perspective. Is the outage of your Wi-Fi frustrating you? From space, where even massive cities appear like tiny dots on a map. Picture that. Not that big of a deal, huh? This change in viewpoint can cut through frustration as easily as a hot knife cuts through butter. Naturally, I'm not suggesting that your issues are unimportant. I'm trying to convey that sometimes we give them power over us by exaggerating them in our minds. We attempt to climb molehills into mountains and then ask ourselves why it's taking so long. However, practicing the aerial view is not a way to get away from your issues. A flat tire and an urgent deadline are not things you can ignore. However, you are able to alter the perspective you have of them. Suddenly, they seem more manageable when you take into account their relative importance in the bigger picture of life. Why is this effective? Because when you zoom out, your troubles get smaller, but your appreciation for what you have grows larger. If you have a roof over your head, a caring support system, and good health, aren't those things worth more than a small detour in your itinerary? The goal of this Stoic exercise is to reconnect with what is genuinely important, not only to perform mental acrobatics. Additionally, the pixels that comprise the larger image appear less distorted when you concentrate on it. Therefore, whenever life throws a wrench in the works, stop for a moment and zoom out. The challenge you're facing might turn out not to be as big as it first seemed, allowing you to face it head-on instead of letting it immobilize you. 3. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, said Seneca. Leverage the power of the present. Aren't we always in a race? Racing to check all these fictitious boxes that society promises will make us whole. Finishing school, getting a job, falling in love, etc. It's easy to lose sight of the present moment in this never-ending sprint. But Stoics argue for pausing and concentrating on the present. The habit of being present may seem more distant than ever in the current digital era. Our news feeds divert us, notifications deluge us, and tomorrow's concerns frequently overshadow today's pleasures. But here's the thing. This pull, either forward or backward, is typically the source of frustration. Either we're angry about something that happened in the past, or we're annoyed because things aren't moving as quickly as we'd want. You may regain control over your time by being present-focused. Resolving the leak in a sinking ship is similar to taking control of situations that are beyond your control, such as unchangeable past or unpredictable future. Please do not misunderstand me. Preparation is essential and experience makes perfect. However, allowing them to take over your current situation is akin to holding on to regrets from a past that has already passed away, or borrowing problems from an unrealized future. In what way then can you be more present? Begin by removing yourself from outside sounds. Turn off non-urgent notifications, schedule some downtime, dedicate yourself to mindfulness, or just give whatever you're doing your whole attention. Taste rather than merely eat. Listen but also hear. Feel instead of just touching. Being in the moment also helps you deal with irritation, because it focuses your attention on what you can do right now. It makes things clearer, simpler, and more peaceful. You reduce the amount of time and space that frustration can dwell in by using the power of now. You have power over your attention, even though you cannot control everything. You'll discover that a lot of your annoyances just vanish into thin air when your attention is focused on the here and now. 4. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality, said Seneca. Examine and control your impulses. Let us discuss desire, which is closely related to frustration. It's as easy as that. You want something to happen, and when it doesn't, you become frustrated. The paradox of desire served as the Stoics' counterbalance. Desires are divided into two categories in Stoicism: natural and vain. Basic needs are things like food, shelter, and health. Notoriety, excessive money, and other unnecessary ambitions are examples of vain desires. The secret is to indulge your natural cravings to the degree that they enhance your well-being, but to avoid giving in to illusory needs at all costs. Humans naturally crave more material goods, more likes, more money. However, have you ever observed that pursuing these goals wears you out rather than fulfilling you? That is the temptation of empty desires. They are limitless and perpetually hovering just out of grasp. Now, giving up all desire is not the Stoic answer. That is neither useful nor even feasible. The goal is to control your cravings and place them on a true relevant scale before becoming angry when you can't fulfill your desires. Consider whether that desire is truly worthy in the first place. You'll discover that your frustration levels will naturally decrease when you realign your desires. Consider this: there is less opportunity for failure and hence less potential for aggravation if you are not pursuing irrational or surface-level goals. However, how can one determine which interests are worthwhile to pursue? As a general guideline, consider if satiating this desire will actually advance your own development and well-being. You might want to think twice if it's more about instant gratification or social validation. Gaining an understanding of the duality of desire is like to updating your mental software. It simplifies your goals, sharpens your concentration, and increases your output. Additionally, there will be less space for frustration to fester the more organized your goal setting is. So evaluate your desires, please. You'll find it far simpler to move through life with a purpose after you've cleared them out, rather than getting swept away by the erratic winds of empty desires. 5. Seneca said, "How does it help to make troubles heavier by bemoaning them?" As an exercise in negative imagery. Negative visualization isn't about being a Debbie Downer, so don't jump to assumptions. Instead, it's about mentally preparing yourself for probable obstacles so you can overcome them with poise and fortitude. Imagine everything going horribly wrong in your day. Your computer crashes, your coffee spills, and you miss your train. Now inhale deeply. Though none of this has occurred, you've already mentally navigated through it in the event that it does. You're ready. This practice accomplishes two amazing feats. It protects you first from the initial shock of tragic circumstances. That way, 5 minutes before your big presentation, the inevitable Wi-Fi crash happens. But instead of freaking out, you just adjust because you've already planned for it. Negative visualization also makes you feel more appreciative of the times when things are truly going well. Because you've realized they're not certain, you begin to appreciate the little things in life, like the perfectly poured coffee, dependable technology, and on-time trains. You experience multiplied joy because you are aware of how quickly things might turn bad. The Stoic response to the question, "Won't thinking negatively make me anxious or pessimistic?" is an emphatic no. The goal is to discuss the unpleasant sufficiently to lessen its ability to disturb you rather than to wallow in it. This isn't about expecting the worst all the time. Don't use the as an excuse. It's about preparing yourself for life's unexpected turns and learning to live with uncertainty. Recall that stress and frustration are not caused by the circumstance itself, but rather by the way you perceive it. And after you've faced setbacks mentally, your perception of them shifts. Try this instead. The next time you're enjoying your coffee in the morning, spend a few minutes visualizing possible obstacles, and then let them go. When life does toss you a curveball, you'll find that you can handle it with the poise of an experienced player rather than the fear of a novice. Here's a challenge for you then. You can definitely finish if you've made it this far. I promise you, the most life-changing portion is right at the end. Do you have the tenacity to finish this? Show me by following me through to the very end. I promise you won't regret it. 6. Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant, as Seneca once said. This is known as amor fati, love your fate. This next Stoic concept, amor fati, or love your fate, may strike a deep chord with you if you've been nodding along thus far. It's not enough to just accept what occurs to you. You also need to love and embrace it and realize that every event is actually a lesson waiting to be learned. Have you lost your job? Rather than moping, see it as a chance to learn a new skill or change careers. Your partnership terminated? Even though it's challenging, the world may be trying to tell you that there is something greater out there for you. This is not to say that you shouldn't have negative feelings. Grief and disappointment are normal human reactions. The Stoic approach is to experience them, to recognize them, but then to take the opposite tack. It's about transforming what people deem bad into a new shade of good. Amor fati is also freeing because it frees you from the blame and grief mentality that can be so exhausting. Ask yourself, how can this enrich my life? The next time you encounter a roadblock, don't just accept it. Instead, embrace it. There's no place for why me. When your default setting is try me, if you love your destiny, it will begin to love you back. Finding a method to dance in the rain instead of waiting for the storm to pass is more important than disregarding life's obstacles. 7. Memento mori. Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day, said Seneca. This phrase means remember your mortality. This one may seem a little macabre to you, but bear with me. The meaning behind the phrase memento mori, which translates to remember you will die, is anything from sinister It serves as a powerful reminder to live fully and passionately while concentrating on the things that really count. Why? When time is of the essence, life's uncertainties become starkly clear when one considers mortality. Irritations and disappointments seem trivial when one realizes how fleeting life is. Will you waste these limited moments worrying over a hurtful remark or a small setback? The Stoics argue that acknowledging our death helps us sort through the unimportant things in life and concentrate on what is truly significant. There's more to this, though, since there's a sense of urgency that comes with realizing how little time we have. It inspires us to take action, adapt, develop, and make decisions. Not tomorrow, but today. You can no longer afford to put off important tasks, realizing that there aren't always second chances in life. So, how can you honor memento mori without making your life seem hopeless? Use it as a reminder every day, asking yourself, in the grand scheme of my finite life, how much does this moment truly matter? Can usually help you realize that whatever it is that's making you unhappy isn't worth sacrificing your peace of mind when you're feeling trapped or upset. The purpose of memento mori is to encourage action and thankfulness rather than to instill fear. It is a tool for sorting the valuable information from the noise in our life and for separating what's really important from what is just noise. Reminding oneself of life's transience not only eases frustration, but also enhances your quality of life. Your time becomes more valuable, your days take on greater significance, and you behave with greater intention. It's the ultimate reality check that will keep you grounded and inspire you to live life to the fullest. Here are 7 Stoic techniques that are intended to address frustration head-on. Apply each one separately or combine them in different ways based on what speaks to you. The most important thing is to get going. Ultimately, 1,000 miles trip starts with a single step. In your case, that step is kicking frustration to the curb. Even while frustration can seem overwhelming, isn't it empowering to know that it can be controlled, that you can become its ruler rather than its victim? By putting these Stoic lessons into practice, you endow yourself with wisdom, a valuable asset in our fast-paced society, rather than merely knowledge. Share it with others if these observations struck a chord with you, if you experienced a wave of inspiration or understanding. Make it a challenge to participate completely in this community. Click subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and give this video a positive rating. Instead of just coasting through life, let's delve in and discover all of its delights and lessons. Finally, please leave a comment below describing which exercise resonated with you, or if you have found a special way to navigate the ups and downs of life. Because learning never happens alone, and you never know when your insights could be the lighthouse that someone else needs to find. Until then, embrace your inner stoicism and meet life's challenges head-on. This is something you can handle.